thank you for asking.
Well, I'll tell you how I learned that I had been invited to become a night bachelor, as we are called. We were filming Macbeth in North Nottinghamshire, in a very spooky and strange location. And we were all living in a kind of motel, hotel, somewhere not far from the location, excuse me. And, thanks. And I'd been up there for about, I don't know, 8 or 10 days. And one morning I had an early call, as usual. It was about 6 a.m. It was in November. It was dark still, no daylight, and it was drizzling rain, and we had to do some outdoor work. And when I saw this, I thought, oh Lord, this is not going to be a fun day. But I got ready, and at one point, reaching for my rain jacket, I opened a closet door in this little suite in this hotel room, and just before I closed it, I saw on the floor a plastic shopping bag. You know, a market bag, cheap little plastic bag. And I didn't know what it was for a moment, and then I remembered. When I had left London 10 days earlier, I'd been away before that, and a lot of mail had arrived, and I'd gathered all the mail together and dumped it into this plastic bag. And when I got to Nottinghamshire, everything was taken out of my car, including this plastic bag, and I guess I didn't know what to do with it, so I put it in the closet, meaning to deal with it later. All this mail, and I looked at my watch, and I had about 15 minutes before my car was due to pick me up. So I decided I'd better just quickly go through this and see if there's, you know, any police summonses or anything like that. And you'll be surprised. And so I sat down at the desk in this, I remember the room was brown, everywhere was brown, and I could hear the rain falling outside, and it was dark. And I started going through the mail, and then I came across a brown envelope which had printed on the front of it, Cabinet Office. Well, I know what the Cabinet Office is. It's, you know, where all the affairs of the government cabinet are handled and run. And I thought, why should somebody from the Cabinet Office be writing to me? And I was curious, so I opened it with my thumb to discover it was a letter telling me that the Prime Minister's office was graciously pleased to offer me a knighthood. And I swear to you, I read it, and I read it again, and I couldn't make sense of it. It was literally like I had stepped from this brown motel room into some kind of fantasy world. And I finally had to accept that it was real. One of the charming things is it comes with a form that you fill out. With boxes to tick. Yes, I would. No, I wouldn't, you know, more or less. And, well, I was overwhelmed, and I was very emotional. And I remember looking around this brown room thinking, I will remember this room to the rest of my days, because it was here that I learned this amazing news. You see, I grew up as a child going to the movies, and although I said I was mostly inspired by American actors, there were English actors, of course, who impressed me. Sir Laurence Olivier, Sir Ralph Richardson, Sir Cedric Hardwicke, Sir Alec Guinness, Sir Donald Wolford. These were the knights of the English theatre. They represented the cream of the crop, the hand-picked bunch of great English theatre and film actors. And I had never in my life imagined to be invited into that world. You know, some of my best friends had already received knighthoods, Ian McKellen, Ben Kingsley. Anthony Sher, Derek Jacobi. I knew all these people, but I'd always felt, well, you know, they're there and I'm here, and you know, that's exactly as it should be. So this news was overwhelming. And of course, we were filming a big scene with most of the company that day. And when I got on the set, I wanted to rush out and say to everybody, "You will never believe what's But of course, you are instructed under no circumstances to tell anyone at all. I mean, there are stories of people who threw parties on the strength of it and then found that the honor never came. So I had to keep quiet about it. Well, not entirely quiet. I don't think about it very much, but, and it's not something that I make a fuss of. I don't insist that people use my title. And when they do, I sometimes wonder who they're talking to. But I was asked because I'm known well for my strongly held political beliefs, which are on the left. I am a lifelong supporter. As those of you who heard my remark about the Republican Party in the United States last week have gathered, I've always been a supporter of the Labour Party. My father was a trades unionist. He started life working in the mines as a coal miner. So did his father on my mother's side. My grandfather, my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather were all coal miners, and one of them was active in first creating the Miners' Association, which became the National Union of Mine Workers. And I'm very proud of those associations. And I am an activist for the Labour Party, and I don't approve of everything they do, far from it. There have been several things in the past 10 years that have been deeply disappointing and dismaying. But an interviewer said to me, "So how is it then that a well-known Labour Party man like yourself, perhaps even a socialist, should accept a knighthood?" Well, I'd always been expecting that question, and it was very easy for me to answer. Although the honor was coming to me, Patrick Stewart, I felt sitting in that brown room that early morning that this was something about the theatre and the classical theatre in Britain, and yes, some acknowledgement of the international career that I have had thanks to Star Trek: The Next Generation. And they were the organizations that were indirectly being honored through me, so I was very proud to accept the honor.
We'd love to have you here, so give it up for Sir Patrick Stewart!
Thank you very much. Thank you. And can I just say, because some of my colleagues, my pals, said it last night and during the day, but this experience here in Calgary has been unique and extraordinary. Thank you for your generosity and your kindness.